Hello you guys, welcome back to another reading vlog. Okay, so for this week we are reading Katabasis by R.F. Kuang and I'm so excited. I am currently on chapter 7. I saw this at the store and I was like, I have to get it. I haven't read Babel. I do have Babel on my TBR for fall. And I did not read any of the required reading. I have heard so many mixed reviews on this book, just from people getting the arc and stuff and them saying that it almost reads like a textbook, but I so far don't think that it reads like a textbook. There's been a few things that I have to like look up and stuff. Other than that, it reads wonderfully and it is so fun. It's a bit of a challenging read, but I have been looking for a challenging book, so I went with Katabasis. Katabasis, however you want to pronounce it. There's not really a set way to pronounce it. I did look that up, and R.F. Kuang pronounces it differently when she is in different places. So far, we follow two students, Alice and Peter, and they are going to hell to find their Professor Grimes, going in for his soul to receive this letter of recommendation. So far, I am loving it. It is so good. There's a few things that obviously I had to look up, but really fun. You see all the layers of hell, you're learning. There's different scripts from different pieces of literature that you get to see. It starts with a quote from Plato, so I thought that was pretty cool. And I've just been like taking notes as I go. It is very cool and it involves a lot of different literature and a lot of actual writing from previous books. So far, I'm really loving that. So that's what we are reading this week. I'm going a little bit slower with this so that I can really take it all in and understand it fully. I'm very excited. It's so good. Right now, like I said, on chapter 7, so we are in the setting of the first court, which is Pride. And Pride takes place in a library and they meet this man named Edward Moore. He basically has an office and he's like, the whole premise of Pride is you have to define good. All of these shades, that's what they call souls that have passed. All of these shades have to define good. So that is what they are doing right now in Pride, but they obviously are not going to come up with the definition. They are trying to just find their professor. So they're trying to leave that court. They're called courts. So there's 8 courts of hell. So they're trying to go to the next court to try and find where their professor might be. I am loving this. I think that this is great and everybody should be reading this. But for now, I am gonna go to my cousin's birthday party and then I'm gonna go to Jack's later and we are going to watch the men's final for the US Open. And so I'm so excited for that. But I will take you guys along with me for as much as I'm gonna do today. It's Sunday, it's a chill day. I probably won't do much. I've just been reading this morning. I got ready. Probably won't film that much, but you will be seeing more of my week. Tomorrow I get to see Annabelle again and we're gonna go to Pilates and then we're gonna go get oysters and I'm so excited. Let's get on with the video and come along with me. Good morning, you guys. I am currently making breakfast. Sorry, I had to move you guys. I thought I'd just like come on here and chit chat for a little. I am on chapter 8 or 9, I believe. And they currently are going into the next court, which I believe is Desire. You know, they finally realize that the chalk does actually not work in hell. They don't know how they're either going to get out or transport themselves. They try to find a shortcut to try and get to Professor Grimes. It's not working because the chalk is not working. So they have to find another solution. You see Alice kind of having like a breakdown. Like, she is so smart and she has all of these theories in her head, and yet she got this one wrong and she is coming to terms with that right now. But anyways, I'm currently making breakfast and I thought I'd just chit chat a little bit. If anybody saw, you know, Harry Styles started dating Zoe Kravitz, and I just felt like I needed to talk about it because I just was thinking about it. How does one start dating Harry Styles? Because I don't know. I don't know, and it's appalling. Also, I was in New York, in Brooklyn. Obviously, you guys saw I filmed. And now he is in Brooklyn. So I just think it's a bit rude, and that should have been me. I should have been there. I should have been with Harry Styles. I'm in a very happy relationship yet. That should be me. I thought I would just give an update on the book. I haven't like read too much. Yesterday I just wanted to chill and go to my cousin's birthday. I didn't film that. And then I watched the rest of the US Open with Jack at his house, and I read my book a bit. But yeah, that's where we are. And I'm gonna read some more today. I'm going to Pilates with Annabelle, and I think we're gonna try and find a coffee shop to go read at afterwards. I'm not sure yet. And then we are gonna go get oysters, and I'm so excited. I think today will be a very fun day. And then tonight I'm just gonna come back and read and, you know, set a little vibe. I finally got some fall candles. I like forced my mom. I said, it is fall. We are getting fall candles and we are diving into fall. I'm done. It's September. I want to be joyous. It's like fall and winter time. I want to decorate and I want to do all the things. So I will show you my new decorations and I'll show you our fall candles. They're so yummy. Get this day going. Let's eat breakfast. Let's go to Pilates. Let's do the thing. Oysters right now, and I'm wearing the top that I wore yesterday. No, don't say anything. It's clean, okay? And then I'm wearing a long white skirt, but you can't really see it.
Flash.
So.
From Target, I think. J. Crew. And I don't know where my shoes are from.
We're both wearing sandals.
Yeah.
So.
And we're going to my favorite restaurant ever. For happy hour, oysters, $1. Split it.
Slay. Well, because I'm going to be hungry.
They have like a tuna one. They have po' oyster.
I'll see you guys there. Hello, you guys. It's the next day, and I am currently on chapter 12. I just got back from work, so Presley is very excited to see me. Peter and Alice in the book just left Desire, and in that court we see, you know, Alice kind of really freaking out and just not liking being in there, and Peter was like pulling her out of it, and then they run into a group of these chalk being things. I can't really remember the name of them, but they're like animals, but they're like made out of chalk. So like the way that they would make pentagrams is the same way that these chalk things are made. So they run into a group of them. They're trying to attack Alice and Peter, and then Alice runs to the Leith River. The chalk beings die, and Alice pretty much, you know, saves Peter and herself. She then, you know, opens up to Peter, shows Peter that she has a pentagram on her arm that was tattooed in with chalk by Professor Grimes, and he's like, what else did he make you do? And they're having this whole conversation about like what the professor has like, you know, forced upon them. He's like, well, he made me steal like a human body part. So she's like, oh my god, like, you know, kind of freaking out, but also like almost excusing it because she still views Professor Grimes like so highly. We see them bonding in this sort of scenario. It's nice until we see that she goes through his notebook. She finds a pentagram that is supposed to change the position of where Professor Grime was and Alice was. So with that, if Peter were to do that successfully, he would have then put Alice into hell and Professor Grimes would be saved if he was able to complete that pentagram that she saw in his notebook. So she's like, oh my god, Peter is trying to axe me. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what to believe. And then in chapter 11, we go back and we see their sort of relationship grow as she got to that college. I don't know what to expect. I'm a bit worried. I'm on chapter 12 now, and I think that we are currently out of the whole remembering chapter. She's waking up from being asleep and Peter watching her. In the chapter before, we saw like a flashback kind of sequence. So I don't really know what to expect going forward, because he did have this sort of spell that he was gonna do and reverse their two souls in their places. So I don't know if she's gonna talk to him. We'll see, but I think it is really interesting that the pentagram on her arm causes her to remember everything that she sees. In the past few chapters before that, we see that her memories are getting foggy, she's looking at things, she really has to focus on things, and it gets kind of confusing, and it's a bit like, I don't understand what she's describing, I don't understand like where she's coming from with this, but ever since we learned that the pentagram is causing her to remember so much information that her brain can't just like forget things, her thought process isn't normal, that her thought process is like, she constantly has to try to either forget things for the time being. It's like we see her explaining like when she sees a tomato, she has to be able to just see the tomato and she has to think really hard to just do something so basic, because her brain will automatically think like, oh, maybe it's a human heart, or it is a dodgeball, or it's all of these different things that her brain has accumulated so compacted with information that it is hard. It's been hard for her going through this process with Peter in hell because of this pentagram on her arm causing her to remember every single thing. I thought that was pretty interesting, and we understand that she's immune to the Leaf because of the pentagram, because the Leaf remove any memory that a person has, but she's immune to it because she has the pentagram on her arm, so she can remember everything. That's where we're at now. Chapter 12 haven't started yet, so we will see what happens. She's just waking up. I think she's going to talk to Peter about his notebook and the spell and pentagram she finds in his notebook, so I hope she confronts him. That's where we are. As for the rest of the day, I'm seeing Jack today. I just got off of work, and I think that I am gonna make some lunch right now and just read, really dive in. I got an ARC for a new book that's coming out. So the book is called The Dagger's Tide, and it's by Michaela Dawn. And by the time you guys see this, I will have already started reading it, and I'm so excited to start reading it. I'm so excited that I got to get an ARC copy of it on my Kindle. So I will be filming a reading vlog for that. I'm so excited. Just started reading like the first chapter of it like last night just to see, and it sounds so good. I'm so excited. So thank you, Michaela Dawn, for sending me your ARC read. I'm so excited to read it and review it, and I hope you guys like enjoyed that video as well. And Michaela Dawn, I really hope that you enjoyed that video. I'm going to make some lunch. I'm gonna read. We're gonna go to Jack's. We're gonna have a good day. It's raining outside. It's moody, so I really want to try and hone in and really read. So let's get on with the day. Okay, you guys, good morning. So it's the next day. I didn't film much yesterday. I ended up just reading, going over to Jack's. We made drinks, we had dinner. And we just like chilled for the night. We watched The Social Network, and that movie is like just the most jarring movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It really was weird. I don't want to learn about somebody being an absolute sleaze. Like, am I supposed to feel bad for Mark Zuckerberg? Like, I don't know if like what the point of that movie was. So I don't know how to feel about that. But anyways, I am currently on chapter 13, and in chapter 12, we see them going through, and they're trying to get to greed, I believe, from desire, and then they run into the Weaver girl, and she gives them a challenge, and she has to see that they are in love and that they're gonna choose the right path. We see Alice starting to have like one of her episodes again from, you know, the pentagram and the fact that her brain just has so much information. We see a part that says like, it's like her trying to bring herself down, and it says, the planks scattered, she could not latch onto the building blocks. She could only cling to a feeling, a sharp panic ringing in her ears like a dozen fire alarms. So we see her genuinely struggling to bring herself back, and she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know whether to pick the red apple or the green apple to then go forth together or go forth by herself. See her really struggling to just come up with any sort of logic. She's getting very confused. She can't like see things. She can't decipher what's going on. And then she glances at Peter for like a split second. She says, "I hate you." And then all of a sudden she snapbacks to reality, and you see Peter grabbing the red apple that is going to then bring them back together, and they go on this journey together. She's not doing the same thing, and then it ends with Peter saying, "What did you do?" That's the end of chapter 12, and then the beginning of chapter 13 is a flashback chapter. Pretty crazy, pretty crazy. I don't know what's gonna happen. And I have a feeling they're going to make it all the way to King Yama's throne, and they're still not going to have found Professor Grimes. That's where I'm at in the book. These chapters are pretty long, so that's why I'm like only on chapter 13 now. But today I don't have much going on, so I'm going to read a big chunk of it, and we can chat about it throughout the day. I am really loving it. I still am not understanding where people are saying that it reads like a textbook. Like, she explains everything that she talks about pretty thoroughly, and even if you don't necessarily understand it, again, just look it up. Like, it's really not that hard. There's no required reading. Anybody who is deterring you from reading this book, I think that's personally pretty stupid. Like, just read this book. You do not need to like be all into literature to understand this book at all. Maybe you need to look up a few things, but again, you don't need that. I did see a lot of people complaining that Alice Law is like too smart, or that she's written to be too smart. Again, she has this pentagram where she remembers every single thing. So yes, she's going to talk about how smart she is because she knows everything. She literally can recite everything. So yeah, she's smart, and it makes sense for her character. And I don't think she talks about how smart she is all the time, or I don't think she references things that make her sound smart all the time. Like, I think that this is a normal explanation for a character. So again, don't let other people's opinions of this book sway you from either reading the book or not reading the book. Genuinely, if you feel inclined to pick it up, just read it. This is making me very excited to read Babel and the Poppy War series. I just really like her writing as well, but I digress. Let's get on with the day. Gonna make some breakfast, maybe go to breakfast, don't know yet, and we're just gonna have a chill day. I'm not doing much. Probably gonna do laundry again. I feel like I'm never not doing laundry. We'll just see where the day takes us. Let's get on with the day, and let's get on with the reading. Okay guys, so I've just been like reading for a while, and now I'm getting ready and I'm gonna go over to Jack's house, and I think we're just gonna like veg on the couch. We both haven't like really been feeling the best all day today, just like sick wise, so I think we're just gonna have a chill day at his house and probably read or like watch a movie or something. But I've just been like reading a ton. And again, the chapters are huge. Like, they're so long and daunting that I've only gotten to, I believe I'm on chapter 14 now. We had that flashback chapter. I wouldn't consider it a flashback chapter, but she is like really remembering everything that happened with her and Peter when she first got to know him and stuff. And you see her subconsciously fall in love with him, which I thought was interesting because I did not expect there to be like somewhat of a love story in this. So I was pretty shocked to see that R.F. Kuang added that in, to be honest. I thought that was a good addition because then we really see why she is so shocked that Peter would like try to reverse Professor Grimes' place and her place. We see that their bond, and then it cuts back to where she's picking the green apple. So that's where we are at right now. But I thought I would just chit chat about it so far, and I'm really liking the book. I've said that a million times now, but I stand by the fact that everybody should be reading this book. It's so, so good. Yeah, but right now, I don't know what I'm necessarily doing today, but I know that we're just like gonna probably just hang out. Almost halfway through the book. I know, it's like taking me forever. My goal is to just really finish this by Friday, which I think I'm going to if I get through a lot of it today, and then really just lock in tomorrow and just really read this book because I want to start the ARC read that I got from Michaela Dawn, and I want to get my review out for that. That's what we are doing for today. and I'll bring you guys along with me. We are not watching The Summer I Turned Pretty today because my cousin's going to a concert, so I'm kind of upset about that, but it's fine. I'm gonna wait for her. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow and we're gonna watch it together. Yeah, let's get this day rolling. Let's get going. Hello, you guys. I'm driving in my neighborhood, so nobody say anything about me driving. I am heading to my cousin's house to finally watch the Summer I Turned Pretty episode. It's much later in the day now. I had some things I had to go to that were a bit on the personal side, so I didn't want to film today, but I did read some this morning, and I will recap when I get back from this with you guys, and we'll chit chat about the chapters I read, and then I'm gonna read some more tonight, and I will bring you guys with me for that. I really want to have like a late night reading session tonight because I have a lot of energy right now, and I think that I want to have like a late night reading sesh, set up a vibe in my room, and have like a good cozy evening with the book. Really get a chunk in so then I can finish it tomorrow. I'm being like really confident with finishing tomorrow, but I really want to start the ARC book that I got. But anyways, let's go watch The Summer I Turned Pretty with Stell and just have a good night. Okay guys, so I thought I'd update. I am in the middle of reading right now. I've gotten to chapter 17, so that's where we're at in the book. And they just fought the Weaver girl. And a bunch of those chalk beings tried to attack them. And then this woman, Elspeth, saved them and brought them back on her ship that she has. She was explaining to them what happened to her and how she was once a student just like them, and then she ended up passing away and ending up in hell. She is explaining to them how the magic system down there works, how to create pentagrams again, and how you have to use almost like an anchor for the chalk to work and stuff. So now they're just on the ship. She's talking to Alice about how she thinks that she understands where she's coming from with Professor Grimes and how like she tried so hard to be the perfect student for Professor Grimes, and over again, like the pain of it just became conducive with pleasure and she couldn't decipher the two. She ended up just, you know, kind of giving up and not being able to complete her course, and Alice thinks that she's going to be different and she's going to be able to overcome the teachings of Professor Grimes, you know, be able to push through and really succeed with where she's at, which I thought was interesting because it's like you see that multiple times you have put this professor on a pedestal and he continues to disappoint everybody that came before you. She's just completely just trying to push it out because she really wants this letter of recommendation and she wants to be successful in the eyes of Professor Grimes, and she still holds Professor Grimes on a pedestal even though she has seen that he is just not a good person. It's an interesting thing to read because you want to be like, Alice, no, like he's not a good person, like you shouldn't want this for yourself, yet she doesn't care. Like she understands where Elspeth's coming from, but not really. She should just get away from Professor Grimes. She believes that she can get out of that situation and not end up like Elspeth. I did highlight a part in this that I thought was pretty interesting. On page 247, it says, "The soul remembers, it's like echoes of how it feels, which after a while seems close enough." And that is referring to the fact that Elspeth is smoking a cigarette. She's like essentially saying like the soul does remember like these sort of things. No, it doesn't affect me, but it does in a way that like I remember how it was supposed to feel, which I thought was interesting because I feel like R.F. Kuang thought about every single little thing in this book. Her character smoking a cigarette wouldn't have made sense because she is essentially dead. She added that in because it creates the person, but then she's like, hey, by the way, they don't feel anything. This is just for memory. And also, Elspeth basically explains to Alice that you know, shades appear how they want to. Like initially a shade would be just a gray cloud. You have to think consciously about how you want to appear this sort of realm. She has to think extremely hard, and she has to remember what she once looked like to be able to look like that. And she explains it as if she's like consciously remembering to breathe over and over and over again. So I thought that was pretty interesting because, again, like, the shades all appear differently, and you'd be like, RF Kwong, why would you let that happen? It's like, well, that little piece of information lets you know that she thought about every single thing for this book, which I really appreciate, because I sometimes feel like I can catch like holes in books and I'm like, well, didn't think about that, or didn't make that explicit. So I can never find a hole in this book. Like, so far I'm about halfway through and I seriously can't find a single point in this where I'm like, that doesn't really make sense. That's where I'm at in the book. I watched the Summer I Turned Pretty episode and I liked it, but I think we'll get more out of next week's episode. But for the rest of the night, I'm just going to read. We'll check back in the morning, and we are going to go to town on this book tomorrow. We are going to read as much as possible. I think I'm going to wake up early to read as well. So I'll just take you guys along with me on that and edit this video, and then, you know, have it be able to upload on Sunday. Let's get on with some late night reading. Take you guys along with me. I'm currently just getting ready for the day and I'm reading the book. I'm reading it like also on Audible, so I have about like 4 hours left in the book and I'm trying to finish it today. And so I'm listening to it and reading it at the same time. They are currently in the court of greed with Elspeth, and she's just explaining everything that has to do with the court, and now it's further from like a college setting, and you can see the courts start to like break up a bit, and like the court of wrath she's talking about, and how it is further from what we think society is like. It kind of starts to break apart right there. So it's pretty interesting the way that Elspeth describes the different courts, because you would think it would be the same like going throughout, but it's not, and I think that is a good addition into this book. I'm just gonna keep reading. I have to go to work today, and then we'll come back and we'll finish this book today. Let's continue reading, let's go to work. Let's just see where the day takes us. Okay, so I'm currently in the middle of chapter 22, chapter 21. And we're seeing her and Peter stuck in the trap that was made by the Crypt Keys, and they currently can't get out, but she is telling Peter everything that has happened with her and Professor Grimes, and the way that he, you know, forced himself upon her at one point, and how the other advisor didn't really believe her, or she did believe her, but was basically saying like, now all of a sudden you want to be a feminist and you want there to be like an equal understanding of like where you're coming from, but realize like you are not made like at the same level. You have to like strive to be important in this college. You have to strive to be seen in a way, like seen in the right light. Don't limit yourself to just be this sort of object for your advisor. And I think that's like where Alice was before he had forced himself upon her, which is very sad. And she did diminish herself to just be his little puppet, and then after that happened, she did not want that to happen. So then when Professor Grimes died, she wasn't necessarily upset about it, and we get to see why she wanted to bring his soul back. And it was so then she could get him to do what she wanted him to do. She can make him feel how he made her feel when he did that to her. Now we get a little bit of insight, and she's explaining this all to Peter, and they are still stuck in this sort of booby trap almost that was made by the Crypt Keys, which are magicians who are desiring to get out of hell themselves. They won't let any sojourners leave hell that are alive because they just think that they deserve to leave hell instead of them. That is where we're at, and then we're going to be on to chapter 22. But I came back from work and I've just been reading, so I thought I'd give you guys a little update of where I'm at. But I have about 3 hours left. I'll take you guys along with me and we'll finish this book hopefully today or tonight. Okay, I'm still reading. I have about 100 pages or so left and I'm just gonna keep chugging on, but I thought it was quite interesting how we see a little bit into Peter's life and how he has Crohn's disease and how that is really shaping the way that he was in school and like why he was always gone, why he was so flaky, why he didn't meet up with Alice so many times. Like it was because he had this disease, why he was going to trade his soul for Professor Grimes' soul and allow for Professor Grimes to be sent back and not him. He was going to sacrifice himself the entire time, not Alice. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And so they're stuck in that Escher trap. He knows that he won't be able to get out, but he could get Alice out, and so he has pushed Alice out of the Escher trap. She realizes that she loves Peter and she wants to be around Peter, but it's right now impossible because he is sending her out of this Escher trap. And she doesn't know how she's going to get through hell herself. She doesn't know what she's going to do now. But now I'm on chapter 24. I'm about to start that. I guess I have a little bit more than 100 pages, but I know that I'm going to be able to chug through this pretty quickly. So let's get to reading. Let's finish this book. I will come back with updates if I have to talk about anything else, but let's just finish this book. I'm really loving it, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about it. Hello, you guys. So I just finished Katabasis, whichever you want to call it. I give this book a 4.5, 4.7 stars. Wow, just wow. As you guys saw in like one of those clips, it was the part where Peter had died, and I was losing my mind. I was like, what is happening? So I finished it last night, and then I just reread the last chapter this morning to like refresh my mind so I could talk about it. I'm currently about to go to the beach with some friends, but I thought I would just chat about some of the parts that I really, really love. I have a whole list on my phone. Essentially, you know, Alice gets the feeling of wanting to be alive again. She starts to eat meat again. She overcomes the Crypt Keys. Alice gets the dilithia from Elspeth and essentially is able to go to King Yama's throne and talk to King Yama. And then she gets to see Professor Grimes again, defeat Professor Grimes, and then gets to have Peter come back in trade for Professor Grimes' soul. So I thought that was pretty insane, and I thought that it was an amazing way to end the book, and her character development throughout the book was just so wonderful. I'm so proud of her, and I'm so proud of Peter as well. I think that they're such amazing characters, and there was a lot of grow and change in this book, and I think that R.F. Kuang did this beautifully. I don't think it read like a textbook. This was out of my comfort zone, but I loved it, and I think I'm going to start reading more R.F. Kuang books. I'm going to read Babel next, I think, out of her books. So again, 4.5 stars. I loved this book, and I would recommend this to anybody trying to get into fantasy, but like some more literature side of it. I think anybody should give this a try. It's a nice challenging read, a nice refresh from having like easy reads and being able to speed through a book. This makes you stop and read and makes you think a little bit because it's more character driven than plot driven, and you see the characters develop and grow as people. I will see you guys next week for next week's reading vlog. We are reading The Dagger's Tide by Michaela Dawn. It's an arc read, and that book comes out October 13th, and I'm so excited to read it early. I'm so happy I had this opportunity. That's the next book we will be reading. I will see you guys then. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye bye.